without going through anything, how would, if you don't, let me reword this. Without failure, how will we grow? Without making mistakes, how will we grow? Without making a wrong decision, how will we know what's the right decision? You know, in our walk, we can apply this with our walk with Christ. And like, if we don't go through trials, if we don't go through, like, if we don't go through like anything, like, trials in this case, how will we know? How will we build our faith? You know, because if everything comes easy, then that's just like just a clean walk. But we all know that that's not really just how it is. You know, you're gonna go through a lot of stuff, right? You're gonna go through many types of trials. You're gonna go through many types of maybe temptations, whatever that may be. You're gonna go through something, right? Whatever that may be. Let's take trials for example, right? Let's say you go through maybe a death in the family, right? And now you're just like losing faith in God because why did He allow that? You know, but at the end of the day, we don't know anything. We don't know everything. We don't know what God has for us. Maybe I don't know what the case may be, but it's just whatever type of trials that you may go through. Just know it's for a greater cause because without failure, how will we grow? How will we like learn what to do is right? How will we know what is right? How will we strengthen our faith if we don't go through any type of afflictions, you know? I think it's in Romans 5:3, and it says, and not only that, but we also boast in our affliction, because affliction produces endurance. Endurance proves proven character, and proven character produces hope. And we can boast and we can like look we can be happy that we're going through something because we know that God is going to have something on the greater side. We know that He's going to have something better for us, you know. And it says like in Romans 8:18, a famous verse that a lot of you guys know, and it says the pain that you're feeling now can't compare to the glory that is coming in the future. The pain that whatever you may be going through is not to worry about what is in the future and what God has for us, right? And but like we can look at the greater side and the brighter side of our afflictions that we go through because we know like everything is going to get better. There's going to be a sunnier side at the end of the storm, right? There's always going to be the rainbow at the end of the storm because the sun shines the brightest after a thunderstorm, after a hurricane. Like it's always shines the brightest because there's always happiness at the end of whatever you may be going through. Whatever that may be. I don't know what you may be going through, but whatever you may be dealing with, fighting with, or maybe just confused and lost, just know that like you are going to find the the brighter side of things. You're going to find the light at the end of the tunnel. You're going to find light. God is going to put He's going to shine His light on you to where there's going to be no more darkness. Because once God shines the light to clear out all your darkness, what other darkness is there, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully it does to somebody. Because like whatever you may be going through, right? Whatever that case may be happy in it, you know? Be happy because you are going through something that you know is gonna produce something better in the future. You're going through something that like you know you're gonna get through. You know you're gonna build yourself out of it. And you know that whatever in the future that this situation may come again, now you know, right? Let's take a relationship for example, right? Let's say someone treats you badly And now you gained the experience of that, and now you know what to look out for. Now you know what to like look for in a person, like in the good things of and the good side of things. You know what to look for, and when someone doesn't show that, then I don't know. I'm not the relationship advice giver, but that's just something that a lot of us may learn sometimes because we like to think that like once trials happen, it's like the end of the world. And it's common to think that, but it's also alert. It's like a building. It's like a building block. Oh, that's a fly landed on my face. Okay. I mean, I am right next to a garden, but but yeah, like people think that like once you go through trials, that's like the end of all things. That's like when the end of the world is happening, and that's like when you don't know if you can get out of this rabbit hole that you may have put yourself in. And that's just something that's like it's so beautiful about God. He takes us out of rabbit holes that we dug ourselves in. Like we put ourselves into something, but He's always there to like help pick us up. And that's just something that's just so amazing to even think about because we may even put ourselves in our own trials, but God is still there to help us out. Even though He didn't do anything. We put our own actions, we took our own actions, and we did something that we put ourselves bad into, and God was still right there to help us out. Yeah, something like it. Without trials, how would you grow? Without failing, how would you know what strength feels like? Without failing, how will you know what good looks like? Because you have to look at both. To fail is like once you fail, you can get back up again. And once you fall, you always get back up. And God is always there to pick us back up. God's always there to pick us up whenever, whatever that may be, whatever we may be going through. Maybe we even dug ourselves into a hole that we put ourselves in. And God is still right there to pick us back up and have us trust Him more. And we just need to start trusting Him more. Start having faith in Him more. We just gotta like start building a relationship with God more. Because the more we build our relationship with God, the more these trials start to come. Because that's their own flesh wanting, because the flesh knows it's not going to go with us into heaven. The body, I don't know how it's. I've heard of it and stated in the Bible, but I'm not going to try and reword how it's stated. But like the flesh is going to stay on earth. But like once we start to get into a relationship and start building a relationship with Christ, that's when more trials and more temptations and more whatever like afflictions, that's something that like happens more because the flesh doesn't want to be a part of that, right? Because our flesh wants whatever the world wants, whatever our own desires want, and that's just something that we have to step in and say no. I don't want to. I don't want to like give in to my flesh. I'm gonna deny my flesh. Right? It says in Matthew, Luke, and John. I don't know if it's in Mark. I haven't read Mark yet, but I think it's like you have to deny yourself every single day. It says like whoever wants to be my disciple must deny himself and take up his cross every single day. Like denying yourself isn't easy. It's not easy. People think it's easy. You just have to like look at like the greater side of things. Just look at like follow Christ. But like actively denying what you personally want is something that's not easy, and it takes a while to even get around it, if that makes sense. Because like denying yourself is not easy. I'm sure maybe whoever's on the other side of this screen, maybe denying your own flesh is hard. Because something I've learned, something I've been told, is that like before you got into a relationship with Christ, you didn't know anything, and you were just following whatever the devil had for you, and it just felt normal at that time. But now, once you start getting into a relationship with Christ, the devil sees you trying to follow him, and that's when he sends more and more trials. And these trials get harder and harder because he wants you to follow him. He wants to follow your own way. He wants you to give into your flesh. And that's just when you gotta say no. I'm gonna follow God instead. I'm gonna deny myself. I'm not gonna follow what my own heart desires because it says in the Bible that the heart is deceitful. The heart can be deceitful, and that's something that like a lot of us need to know. It's common. It's really common to say to follow your heart because it's like that people like say the gut feeling. You know, like you have a feeling. If we just base our things off of feelings, once those feelings go away, what are you basing it off of, right? That's something a lot of us do in relationships. You base it off of feelings. You base it off like once that feeling goes away, you don't feel that connection anymore. Then that wasn't really a real feeling in the first place. You felt something, and once it went away, that's just when that connection went away, and it wasn't a true connection to begin with. And maybe you have to accept that. But yeah, back to trials. Yeah, without trials, how would we grow? Without learning how to deal with trials, what kind of like how will we grow? Like I keep saying the same thing because that's just how it is. Without trials, how can we grow? And when trials do come, we can be happy in them because now we know that our own trials is going to produce better. It's going to make us better. It's going to make us better as a person. It's going to make us as better as a follower of Christ. It's going to make us do all these things, these positive things. And that's something that a lot of us need to learn. It's 10:26. This is episode 2 of Early Mornings with Christ. It's not that early as yesterday's, but it's still the morning. I woke up at 7, and yeah, now I'm recording at 10. I should start recording in the morning, which was yesterday, 7 o'clock. Could wake up earlier, but I'll go to bed later. I should start changing my. I should start changing my sleep schedule. School's about to start in a week. I'm about to be a senior in high school. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, I'll probably get these videos out a little bit earlier. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning. It's still the morning, but not as early as I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be a little bit earlier, maybe like 7, 8 o'clock, something like that. This is episode 2, yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, whatever. I hope you just learned something from this, man. Without failing, how would you grow? And once we do fail, we know that like we can build ourselves back up. God is always there to build us back up. That's something that a lot of us need to learn. But yeah, that's episode 2 with Early Mornings with Christ. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. I love you guys, but Jesus loves you more. I'll see y'all next video.